Persistence is everything. You know, you look at a lot of this generation, it's about an instant gratification. You know, if they don't get an instant raise or they don't become vice president of the company within a month or 6 months, they think, well, this isn't for me. They'll try it over here. Then they start from ground zero again. They do it over. Then they try it again. Anything that's successful, I promise you, persistence is a key ingredient to building this wealth. I want to show you some examples of unbelievable persistence. The story of Sylvester Stallone, it's a great story. Do you guys know how Sylvester Stallone became Sylvester Stallone? I've been telling the story for like 15 years, but it tends to be on social media now more than ever. But it's a crazy story. Sylvester Stallone back in the 70s was living in poverty. He had no money whatsoever. He was actually so poor, he had to sell his dog for $50 because he couldn't afford it, right? He was that poor, sold it to a stranger. Then what happened was he went and saw a boxing match. Chuck Wepner was fighting Muhammad Ali. A local fighter was fighting the heavyweight champion of the world. And guess what? Everybody thought it was going to be a quick fight, but it wasn't. This local fighter actually went the distance and knocked Muhammad Ali down once. Sylvester Stallone's watching this. He's like, wow. He's like, this is a really good idea. So what he did, he started writing the script to what movie? Rocky. So he started selling the script because he was an out-of-work actor, couldn't get a job. And he took it to his agent, and they're like, this is actually a pretty good script. And they're telling you what? They're like, we're going to offer you $100,000 for the script. They said the only stipulation is this. If we give you this money, you cannot star in this movie. And he's like, nope, I'm not interested. So he actually rejected it. Then what happened was they're like, okay, we'll offer you $250,000 for the script. And he still said no. They offered him $500,000. They said, Robert Redford wants to roll. But again, he's like, you know what? Not going to happen. So what happened was, they ended up giving him $36,000 for the script. The first thing that he did, went to the corner where he sold the dog to the stranger, waited there for, I think, about a week, found the guy with the dog finally, and he said, hey, he goes, that's my dog you got. You remember you bought it off me like a month and a half ago? He's like, yeah. He's like, I want to buy the dog back, rented it a bit of money, but for your troubles, you pay me 50, I'll pay you $100. Guy said, I kind of like your dog. I don't want it to do that, right? Anyways, he ended up saying, well, I'll pay you $1,000. Said no. He ended up paying the guy $15,000 out of that $36,000 to buy his dog back, right? And he had to give the guy a part in the movie, which is kind of funny too. But interesting enough, if you ever watched the movie Rocky, have you ever watched the dog in it, Bupkis? That's the dog, right? That's the dog that he bought back. It was his best buddy. So, but you can see the persistence that takes place. You know, any successful story has it. I want to see if anybody can guess who this is. In 1816, his family was forced out of their home. He had to work to support him at age 7. In 1818, his mother died. In 1831, he failed in business. 1832, ran for state legislature, lost. 1832, also lost his job, wanted to go to law school, but couldn't get in. 1833, went bankrupt in business. 1834, ran for legislation again, lost. 1835, was engaged to be married. His fiance died. 1836, had a nervous breakdown. 1838, sought to become Speaker of the state legislature, was defeated. 1840, sought to become elector, was defeated. Ran for Congress, lost. Ran for Congress again. This time he won and did a good job. Then he tried to run again. He actually lost. 1849, sought a job for land officer in the state home, was rejected. 1854, ran for Senate for the United States, lost. 1856, sought the vice president nomination at his party's national convention, got less than 100 votes. 1858, ran for Senate again. Again, he lost. Like, we're talking right now, what is this? 20, 30, 40, 50, 40 years of failure, right? 1860, he was elected the president of the United States. Anybody guess who it is? Abraham Lincoln, right? Success.
Consistent persistence, and I like that. Consistent persistence. I've always said that, you know, it's never what you do once in a while that really changes your life. It's the little things you do with consistency that change your life. Small actions performed with consistency over time produce big results. That's the whole secret. Success to me is just a series of failures along the way. Everybody thinks failure is the opposite of success, but I think failure is a path to success. You know, you make a mistake, you move on. You make a mistake, you move on. You make a mistake, you move on. That's the persistence part of it, is to stay in the game. Don't give up on the goal. I might need to change what I do along the way, but I'm not going to give up on the goal. Number one, the key to success is consistency in the right actions over and over and over again. And then when you see something that's not working, then you got to decide to be persistent. So you're going to give up on the goal, or you're going to change your approach. And I suggest changing your approach and never give up on the goal is probably a much better idea.
I think persistence is incredibly important. I'll stop just a little bit short of saying nothing's easy, because I guess there are some things that are. But by and large, to become successful at something, there's other people that are trying to do the same thing. It's not easy. It is competitive. There's no secrets. The information is shared very freely. And you're going to run into times where things aren't going to go your way. I call it my 51-49 rule. 51% of the time you're pushing an idea ahead for the inevitable 49% of the time that you're taking it in the teeth. That's net 2. Net 2 every day, every month, every quarter, in a slow year, maybe every year. That's progress. And you're making progress, but you have to stick to it. You have to be persistent. Set your sight on where you want to go, surround yourself with the right people, and hang in there.
Persistence is probably one of the biggest traits you have to have, because there's times when it's not going right, it's time when it's going really right. I think you have to have a lot of confidence and have a passion for your business. And those two things will take you through a long way. If you're doing anything, I don't care what it is, you have to be persistent and just being there, just keep pounding away. And usually you get a breakthrough.
No success comes quick. And so the constant persistence of moving forward, regardless how slow or uphill it may be or how difficult it may be, it's the consistency in your daily lives that's going to move it forward. You have to be constantly working forward. Doesn't matter if it's small or big achievements, you have to move things forward in order to achieve them at the end of the day. It's the consistency that's going to eventually get you there.
How about this? You look at Jay and I want to take our product on Dragon's Den. What we had to do, you have to audition to get on the show. We went and we role played for like a week, and we had all these chairs sitting in front of us. We had people FaceTiming us and drilling us on our products. We tried to prepare as much as we could. So when we went in front of the producers, there's nothing they could throw at us. And then we auditioned in Collingwood, and guess what? We nailed the audition. And they honestly went up to Jay and I like, that's the best audition we've seen in a long time. Looks like you guys put some effort into it. We said, we really worked hard. And they're like, you know what? We're going to let you guys know right now, we're probably not going to let you guys on the show. I said, why not? And they said, well, you guys are a DVD program. How are we going to show TV on TV? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I didn't have an answer. And so we're driving back to my place in Uxbridge, and we pull off on the Highway 400. And I said, Jay, we can't quit. It's part of our program. We can't quit. I said, let's find out where are they auditioning tomorrow? Let's audition again tomorrow. I go, that'll impress them. We go online, Abbotsford, BC. And I'm like, oh no. What do? We just go in the car, go right out to the airport. And I don't know if anybody's ever bought a flight to fly across the country the same day. Not the cheapest tickets in the world. And Jay and I are role playing. What are we going to say? We show up in Abbotsford, and the two producers are sitting on their computer like this. We walk in, and they look up, and they're like, what are you guys doing here? We just saw you yesterday. And we just spent $3,000 in flights, 5 hours on planes to spend 3 minutes with you. We're like, you know how good our product is. I promise you, give us a shot. The Dragons will love us. And right there and then they're like, wow, you're on the show, right? But if we didn't go that extra step, right, it would have never happened. So is it because we got the best grades? Is it because we're the smartest? No, we just don't give up. And that's one of the key ingredients. You know how Jay was talking about the goal setting? You know how we're talking about opening up the checking and the savings account, being persistent? All these things are ingredients to building wealth. If you take one of those ingredients out, wealth doesn't taste as good. Like imagine you want to bake a cake and you're putting all the ingredients in, like sugar, eggs, yeast, or whatever you put in stuff, like you're putting all this stuff in. I don't know what you put in cake. I don't make it. I just eat it. But here's the deal is imagine you don't add one of those ingredients in. Imagine you don't add in eggs. Well, the cake's not going to taste as good. It's not going to be the potential that it could be if you don't add the sugar. All these ingredients, what Jay's talking about, goal setting, critical to building wealth. Opening up those 2 accounts, critical. Start saving. These are all the things that you need to do to build wealth. People go, why do you talk about this stuff? You have to talk about this stuff because if you don't, you're not going to build wealth that's sustainable. That makes sense to you guys? This is key to building wealth right here, persistence.
Well, you have to be tenacious and resilient.
More people should savor discomfort for their betterment and success. And often hard work comes with a certain level of discomfort or suffering or whatever, depending on what you're going for.
Hard work is an important part of life. To feel valued in society, you need to work hard.
If you don't work hard in your life, you have have determination and ambition,
Yeah.
and you have to kind of be persistent in that and consistent with what you're working towards.
You have to be resilient in the face of ups and downs and trying to overcome, various challenges that can surprise you.
I think hard work is important, but I feel like most people don't work hard in the direction that they're trying to go. So they're actually like working hard, but against themselves.
People don't want to, admit that, hard work will get you places, or like being persistent with something will get you places, but it really can get you anywhere. If you put in hard work in your schoolwork and your jobs and in your life in general,
Put your mind to it.
you can get pretty far in life.